Now let's review the actual story. Remember, this was the cover page I showed you, and I wanted you to make a prediction about what it was about. Now that we've read the first 2 pages, it should be kind of obvious. We see Walter here, and he's got glasses, and he looks a little bit like a nerd, or at least a very ordinary gentleman. But we see in his head, he's got these wild fantasies going on, and a lot of activity happening inside his own noggin. So, remember, in the story, his regular life is very plain and boring and average, but he likes to imagine himself as these fantastic characters. So now hopefully this makes a little bit of sense. Now remember what happens on the first page. So on the opening page, it starts off and we're in the middle of a hurricane. A Navy commander is flying a hydroplane through a terrible storm, and all of the commander's men are admiring his courage and just overall are very impressed with this guy. All of a sudden, we realize it's a fantasy because it gets interrupted, and actually Walter's not flying a plane, but he's driving a car down the highway, and his wife is yelling at him for going too fast. So, notice the contrast between being a brave Navy commander who all of his men respect for being brave and taking charge, to a man getting yelled at by his wife for going too fast. So there's a major contrast between what's happening in Walter's fantasies and what's actually happening in reality. So then Walter goes and drops his wife off, but not before she tells him that she wants him to go see a doctor because she's worried about him. So soon enough, he slips into another fantasy. This time he is a doctor, and he's not just any doctor, he's like the greatest doctor in the world. And he's at a hospital with other doctors who are trying to save a millionaire banker. And no one can do it except for Mitty. Mitty comes and saves the day. He fixes a machine and then takes over the surgery for the other doctors who can't handle it. So notice that first his wife is saying that she wants him, Walter, to go get looked at by a doctor. Then all of a sudden he's imagining himself as the world's most successful doctor. And all the other doctors are intimidated by him. So we need to be wondering, what causes Walter's fantasies?